Just a few years ago, Supergiant Games was nothing more than a handful of people in a house trying to make the best game they could. Today, they're one of the most well-known, successful indie studios of the current generation. Their title Bastion wowed gamers across PC, console, and even web browsers. So how do you follow up on one of the most critically acclaimed games of the year? Why, you'd make another one. Or try to, at least. Let's see how they did with Transistor. Transistor has you taking control of Red, a local influential singer who's had her voice taken away by a powerful organization called the Camerata. Joined by a sword containing the essence of what appears to be her boyfriend, voiced by Logan Cunningham, the narrator from Bastion, she goes on a quest to make the Camerata answer for their crimes. She's being pursued by the Process, a destructive, data-driven force that's also destroying her home of Cloudbank. That's the plot in a nutshell, and if that was a little too dense for you, you're basically a badass silent protag with a great narrator sidekick who's laying down the smackdown all up and downtown. The gameplay is equal parts strategy and action. You can chain together moves to kill your enemies like Bastion, but less fast-paced, or use Turn, a move that stops time and lets you plot your attack before executing it. Think of Turn like the battle system of Valkyria Chronicles, where you have a limited resource meter and moving and attacking both consume that meter. The combat system has a nice amount of strategy, but not so much that the pacing slows down, something I'm a really big fan of. The upgrade system is also really inventive. Basically, you acquire new abilities, and you can do one of a few things with them. You can either use the ability as an attack modifier, or a passive ability. So if I equip Bounce as an attack, I now have a bouncing projectile attack. If I equip it as a modifier on something, it'll add the chain reactive effect to most of the attacks. But if I use it as a passive ability, Red gains a deflecting shield, which is all really useful stuff. This adds a much deeper level of customization where you can switch your moves and abilities based on what types of enemies are in the area, which keeps you thinking about your combat choices the whole way through the game. As you would expect, and can probably already see, the art is incredible. To be fair, I'm a sucker for a lot of color use, so this game was right up my alley. I could throw around some more words like serene or large palette, but I'll just let the game do the talking for me. Just look at it. The music is also pretty good, and the single, if that's what it is. Do video game soundtracks have singles? Is this one of them? It was the first song I heard from the game, so I assumed... whatever. It's excellent. We All Become, that's the name of the song, may be my favorite song to come out of Supergiant/Darren Korb yet. The only thing I'm sad about is that the rest of the music isn't quite as good as that from Bastion. I mean, it's more atmospheric, and it's good for building a vibe. I mean, it's hard to explain. I think it does a better job of fleshing out the places and making you feel really absorbed in Cloudbank. And it's better at that than what Bastion did, but I wouldn't listen to it in the car like I do the Bastion soundtrack. I don't know, maybe it's not less good, it's just different? I don't know, just scrap this entire, that whole half. It meant nothing! It just meant nothing! The story is also quite interesting. If you took a 12-hour script and drastically cut the fat, letting the visuals do more of the storytelling, that's what Transistor's script would look like. There's nothing wasteful about the dialogue. In fact, it reminds me a lot of Edgar Wright's directing style, in that though there may be functionally useless narrative,
wish we could just sit and watch the world go by.
It always serves the purpose of either deepening your bond with the characters, or immersing you in the world of Cloudbank, or helping set the tone for the next event. At no point was I trying to rush the dialogue sequences trying to get to the point, or ever felt like the story was moving too fast for me to care. I mean, and it also doesn't hurt to have a narrator that I could listen to reading Tumblr fanfiction all day. Oh, so good. Picard gazed into the distance holding Clark's hand. No more were they captain of the USS Enterprise or the Man of Steel. Just partners. And that's all they ever needed. Well, that got weird. If you haven't already, do yourself a favor and pick up Transistor as quick as you can. If you like a mix of action and strategy games, or just an engaging story, it's out right now on PlayStation Network and Steam, so get playing.